Such a shame. Such an ignoble death for a lady such as she. I am Andrew Campbell, captain of the Saronic from 1904 to 1910, standing here on the shoreline of the St Clair River. A moment ago, a tear came to my eye as I thought back to July 2nd, 1847, when as a young boy I boarded the first Empire with my father. 8:30 in the morning. The Empire had docked at Sombra to take on wood and upbound passengers who would be traveling steerage on this ship. My father had to help other steerage passengers and the crew as they loaded wood for the steam engines. It took more than 3 hours to load 600 cords of hickory, maple, beech, and oak. Standing along the rail on the steerage deck, my father told me, "Andrew, lad, this is the fastest and largest craft on all the lakes. Carry up to 300 passengers to ports from Buffalo to Chicago, traveling at 16 to 18 knots. If we could go up a deck and be with the first-class passengers, which we cannot, of course, because of who we are and the cost, your mother and I would be able to spend our evenings in the mazes of the cotillon and the whirlings of waltz. The first-class passengers may dine whenever they please, just have to come into the main dining room, seat themselves at a table, and order whatever they want. They have tea served along with sandwiches and pastries at 7 p.m. Then they're back again at 10 when the supper table is spread. All that we have available to eat all day is the loaf of bread and cheese Mother brought for us." That was the first time I sailed this beautiful river. Such a rich and beautiful scene. Along the shoreline, intermittently spaced between the vistas of heavy tree growth or crops of wheat, corn, vegetables, all planted by hardy pioneers who had taken up land alongside the river. Alas, that Empire was wrecked on Long Point in Lake Erie in 1870. But there's another ship named Empire with a closer connection to Lambton, that one floundering out there. Originally, the United Empire, built for Beatty Line here in Sarnia, launched on November 1st, 1882 before a large crowd, 253 feet long, a 1,000 horsepower engine, a sail on her foremast. She was built for passenger and cargo trade both. With room for 100 passengers, her rate for the Duluth-Sarnia run was $28, which included first-class passage, meals, and berth. Second-class passengers paid lower rates but had no berth privileges. Over the next 20-plus years, she sailed up and down the lakes. In 1904, she went into dry dock at Collingwood for rebuilding, and emerged the next spring, rechristened as the Saronic. That's when I took over as captain and skippered her until 1910 when I retired. The early winter of 1915, the Saronic ran into hard luck. Tied up at the Wellington Street dock here in Sarnia when the steamer Majestic, moored at Point Edward, caught fire, broke loose, and drifted down upon her. Grounded the next season, the Saronic, listing badly, upset the galley stove and caught fire. The salvaged hull was made over into the barge J.J. Kennedy, but her fine lines fore and aft ill-fitted her for a cargo carrier, and she proved hard to steer. Such a shame to watch this once fine lady as she crashed into her old dock. As I watched my old ship being towed up into the lake, she got caught into the rapids and parted her tow line. Such a shame. As a tear ran down one side of my face, I stopped, reached into my pocket, pulled out my billfold, and extracted a $4 banknote. Looking carefully at the Empire sailing through the Sioux locks on one side, I whispered, "That's the way I'll always remember her."